Happy Friday Eve, everyone. We are so close to the weekend, but not quite there just yet.
And it's a holiday weekend, too.
It is a holiday weekend, Easter, and we're actually just buying some Easter goodies.
My goodness, we were talking about the prices of things this year. Easter candy is expensive.
Yeah, News 10 today at 11, we were talking about the Easter candy being expensive, and especially chocolate.
Yeah.
It's pricey.
Those little thing of Reese's that I got were $6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Too much. Too much money.
Let's talk about the weather. Today's been really nice. You know, the sunshine has made such a difference out there. Yesterday, we said that we would see some sun late in the day. It took almost all day, but very end of the day before the sun went down, we did see some clearing, and that has led to the sunshine that we have out there right now. But we are seeing just a few clouds around, but that's about it. Today's weather is going to be quiet. Tomorrow's weather is going to be quiet. It's not until the weekend. Holiday weekend that we will be talking about some opportunities that rain. So let's show you the US 127 Skycam, and what we see here is that we have lots of sunshine that's going on right now across mid-Michigan, and we will be seeing that continue throughout the rest of the day today, which I think is some welcome news because it has been a while since we've seen such a nice day overall. And what I am expecting is today's forecast shows temperatures that'll be in the 40s for daytime highs, and I think overall it is going to end up being a very pleasant afternoon across the region. But we will be tracking some changes that are on the way as we head into the next 5 days. We do see some rain that is creeping back into the forecast, and you can see, in fact, some of the heavier rainfall totals showing up into southern parts of our region. That's getting into Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Now, that's because there will be a parade of systems that come in, and that'll likely bring us some opportunities at seeing some rainfall. So let's break this down for you day by day. I think our first chance comes Saturday, probably a little bit more than what that model shows there. And then that Sunday chance is late in the day. We're talking Sunday night, and then another opportunity because we are seeing another chance for some rain coming in on Monday, and that's likely going to bring us some more showers Monday, Tuesday, and possibly even into Wednesday as well of next week. So things will definitely be turning more active. And you can see the Easter weekend forecast does show that tomorrow, if you have the day off tomorrow, I know some people do because of it being Good Friday, temperatures will be in the lower 50s. And we will see some sunshine as well. It's Saturday. That's the best opportunity at seeing some rainfall overall. And then we'll actually dry out for Sunday. But it will be a cloudy day with highs in the lower 50s for daytime highs on Sunday. But if you have any of those Easter egg hunts or anything else like that, it should be okay in terms of the weather. Now, this is a live look from our Jackson Skycam, and the reason why I want to show you this is because it's a little different in Jackson, a few more clouds than what we've been seeing in northern parts of the area. That was expected, but I don't expect any rain or snow today in Jackson, but the temperature right now is 43 degrees, so we're a tad warmer than yesterday. Yesterday's high was 41 in Jackson. We're already above that, so just a little bit warmer, and that warming trend will actually continue even into tomorrow and into the weekend as well. Now, looking at satellite radar, we have clear skies for the most part across the region, but there is a very weak upper-level disturbance that passes through parts of Illinois and Indiana. That's why there are some clouds in far southwestern Michigan, so that's why southern areas may get clipped with some of these clouds, but no rain or snow with it, so I don't want anyone to think that we're going to see anything from it, just some clouds that'll drift in heading into the afternoon. So let's show you the hour-by-hour forecast, and what we'll see throughout the rest of the day today is that the clouds will continue to be out there in parts of the region, but we should clear out tonight. And think about tonight, we talk about radiational cooling every now and then, and that's the process of cooling down at night when you don't have clouds. So we don't have any clouds tonight. The winds are going to go calm, so our temperatures are really going to drop quickly tonight, probably down into the 20s yet again. So I know I needed to use my ice scraper this morning.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably have to use it again tomorrow as we'll drop below freezing, but tomorrow a lot of sunshine, temperatures just a tad warmer, upper 40s, lower 50s. A really nice looking Friday is expected across the region. And then as we head into our Friday night and into Saturday, there's that next system that I mentioned coming in for Saturday morning. That'll likely bring us some widespread rain as we begin the weekend. There is some question in our computer models of how far north the rain gets. I still think most of us, if not all of us, see some rain early Saturday. If that changes, we'll let you know. But at this point, it looks like everyone will see some rain to begin the day Saturday. But this is the good news. Once we head into the afternoon and evening, that system moves out and we should dry out. So I don't think Saturday's a washout. I certainly do not think that the weekend as a whole is a washout, but there will be some opportunities as seeing some rainfall every so often. Now, in terms of our temperatures, we do warm up into the 50s. Now, I mentioned earlier this morning, if you're watching News 10 Today at 11, our average high is now 50 degrees, and it stays 50 or above all the way till November 10th. So how about that? So we're into the warmer days, and we'll have 50s for a string of days through Monday, and then we do cool down briefly heading into next week before we warm up again the following Friday into the upper 50s. I will mention this time frame right here. Even looking at some of our new model data that has just come in, I don't want to show any models from that time because it is showing something interesting going on. It looks like we'll see a parade of systems. So the first one's going to come in late Sunday night into Monday, and then we may see a kind of another system-ish come in Tuesday to Wednesday. And the thing about it is that the system may not be completely rain. There may be cold enough air around parts of the region that there is some snow from that system. So right now, the best chance of that is going to be north of us, but we all know the track of the system, if it shifts north or south, we'll have to keep an eye on it. But it is just a reminder that I don't have it explicitly in the forecast at this time, but it is going into April. We all know that you can still see some of that in April. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but we'll keep an eye on it. Right now, it looks mostly rain, very little impacts, but the system could bring a few inches of snow to parts of the state.
A few inches?
Yes, to parts of the state. Right now, it's missing us, but we'll keep an eye on it. I don't want anyone to freak out. I don't want that.
Freak it out.
Yeah, but it is a system that has some cold air to work with.
We want the April rain showers, no snow showers. Please get that out.
It's just kind of fitting that this is happening because we spent so much time in the winter seeing spring-like weather, and now that it is spring, we want it to be warmer, and it's slowly but surely getting there. But
even late spring weather, when you have 70 degrees, I mean, we're heading into early spring, and this is what we're looking at.
Yeah, but this is where we should have been all along. You know, we have 40s and 50s, the average high is 50, so we're right near that over the next 10 days. But there are no big warm-ups, but even looking long range, you know, towards the end of next week and into the following weekend, it does look overall warmer. So we'll see what ends up happening as we get into the middle part of April. Obviously, each day that goes by, the less chance we have at seeing the return of wintry weather. So we just got to keep marching forward here into the new month and see what happens.
March out of March and into April.
Right. It is hard to believe that it is April soon.
Yeah, I know. Can't believe it. We got a few birthdays coming up. I mean, birthdays are always coming up. I know. I'm excited.
Our birthday's coming up.
That's why I was excited about next week. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, next Saturday, right?
It is. Next Saturday. Look at that. Crazy. Another year.
Another year.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Keep moving forward.
There we go. Yes. Okay. Well, anything else?
Well, it must be nice to have a birthday in April. Like, mine's in January, so, like, it's always cold. Yeah, so at least you can sometimes get some nice weather.
Sometimes, though. I mean, as you said, like, sometimes we're getting the winter, and then you'll have some spring, and then you're back to winter.
Yeah.
It's a very inconsistent forecast for the April
Well, my
birthdays.
family's birthdays are all in the fall, so my sister's September, my brother's October, and then my parents are November. So everyone can see just kind of some weird weather, but I am for sure cold almost every year.
And that's probably why you like your cold temperatures.
I do love, and snow. But I will say, I love snow, but I don't want to see any more. Like this past system last week when we saw the snow, we're good.
Well, okay, so you
Thanks,
want the
winter.
snow, though, when we're supposed to have the
Yes,
snow.
I want to see snow basically from like December through February. March, I can accept it, but then by April,
Get it out.
no more.
Take it out of here.
Yep, I'm ready for, especially when you get that first taste of spring, and it's like that first really nice day, and you get outside, and it smells like spring outside.
And you can feel the sun on your skin,
and
you're
it's
just
just
like smiling in the parking lot.
Like, wait, this is what I've been missing this whole time. So I do, I'm very much looking forward to spring. And as a snow lover myself, this winter was terrible in terms of snowfall, as in there wasn't a lot. And, but now I'm just ready. Okay, that winter was terrible. Let's move on, and let's move into spring and summer.
Not a good winter. For those who didn't like the snow, and like, I mean, it was so cold, but for those who didn't like the snow, driving in it, that was the biggest thing, I would say. But still.
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking about that last Friday when it did snow, as like driving in, I was like, it's been a while since I've had to drive in snow.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah, that was...
get the wheel.
That helped things out, but we have some spring weather coming in. It looks like by this time next week, we'll be tracking another warm up that's going to come in, and maybe, hopefully, that means spring is on the way.
I want it so bad. I'm ready.
We're still seeing things bud outside. I
We
mean,
are.
I've noticed yesterday I was driving on US 127 south of I-96, like kind of towards Holt,
Yeah.
and some of like the low bushes and things like that, you could see some green showing up like with some leaves.
Did you see Anne's post? Ann Emmerich had a post with what was the flower you got her for Secret Santa last year? Because that's what she
Oh
was
my gosh,
showing.
did it bloom again?
I don't know if it was that specific plant that you gave her,
Oh,
but
what
she had
was
a few
it?
in her yard, and they're blooming, and I mean, it looks beautiful outside.
Yeah.
Looking wise, the feel is cold, but it looks like spring.
I know. I saw some flowers that had already come up in Mason, and they were at like some bank, I think, or something like that. And they looked so sad the other day when it was cold, and I was just like,
They're like, we're freezing.
a little too early there. We're running a couple weeks ahead of schedule in terms of that. I actually just went and looked through some data, which was really interesting. We're a couple of weeks ahead. I think Detroit's like 23 days ahead in terms of where spring stands in terms of the plants. So that's really interesting.
So I know typically, because we've run stories, hey, wait to plant anything, especially flowers. Crops are a little different. But flowers, I know you were saying typically wait till May around Mother's Day.
Yeah, that's like the old, if you've been from Michigan
Tale.
for a long time, that's what everyone says in Michigan, is wait till Mother's Day. I would still say that because you never know what's going to happen through the month of April. You can always get that one cold snap that just ruins it all. But what will happen is eventually, if we continue to progress and see our trees kind of continue to bud out, and especially our fruit trees like apples, they will reach a point where they're big enough and they're out enough that a freeze will not necessarily cause too many issues. So we just got to get through that vulnerable stage, which we've been in, and then we'll see some better conditions. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, given the forecast here moving forward, if we see much more of this in the weeks to come. So it may be an early year that we have leaves on stuff.
All right. Well, we will keep our eyes peeled. Let me just take a quick live look over downtown Mason because
I can't see the flowers that I saw. They were downtown, but it wasn't near the courthouse. It was just the other
not
day.
there. And of course, the pine trees over there, they're going to stay
That's
all.
a beautiful look at Mason, though, with
I
the
know, it's
courthouse.
beautiful. No, that's
Just a
real
few of
nice.
those puffy clouds.
You got the flag blowing over there. No, that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Mason's a great spot.
When it gets warmer out, we'll be walking around. There we go. All right, we'll see you 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock with Studio 10, and then, of course, first at 4.
All right, we'll see you then, Colton. And Studio 10 is very busy today, so I will tease what they have coming up in just a second. But here's your first alert weather app for any of those updates.
Yeah, and we'll post updates in there heading into the weekend, even though it is pretty quiet out there the next couple of days. We will be seeing the return of some active weather, and if the forecast changes in a big way in terms of next week, we will let you know if that does happen as well. And download the News 10 First Alert Weather app on your phone. It is free in the Google Play and App Store, which is the best news. You can also post or submit storm photos in there. You can also look at school closings and things like that. So the app has a whole bunch of tools and resources that are available in it, and it is free. And of course, you also have the radar. You can set up push notifications for when you get severe weather warnings, and then of course, accurate forecasts and videos with each of us from the First Alert Weather team. We post updates in there a couple times a day or more, depending on what's going on. So you can always find a very nice forecast in there.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you, Colton. We will see you at 3 o'clock. And here's where you can stay up to date with Studio 10. Of course, again, they're very busy today. So WILX Studio 10 is where you can go for if you want to look back at any videos, if you want to forward a link on over to someone. Just because, hey, some spring stuff is coming up. So let me try to pull up their YouTube page real quick so you can see what you can expect when you head over to their YouTube page. So I'm going to type in YouTube real quick. Here we go. I'll show you what I'm seeing. WILX Studio 10. Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. All right, we're going to click on this, go to videos. You can navigate how you would like. But if you go on down, yes, celebrating Cesar Chavez Day. And then also talking about the buy one, give one at Bigby. You're talking some other salami packed chips, the protein in there, and a lot of other fun. And I know Studio 10 is talking about a lot of spring and Easter stuff today. Very exciting, and especially because Easter Sunday is this weekend. So they're going to be having a lot of fun talking about different Easter activities and events you can look forward to heading out throughout the weekend. And of course for Easter Sunday, talking about all the great things you can do indoors and outdoors. Again, I'll show you what the 10-day temperature trend is looking like right now. Other than that, go to Studio 10 at WILX.com, because on there, when you find their Easter eggs during their newscast, you're able to email them, and if you get it right, you can get a little Easter basket giveaway. Who doesn't want that? So go email them at studio10 at WILX.com, or of course, again, if you want to rewatch anything spring-related, Easter-related, head on over to WILX Studio 10, their social media handles. One more thing I want to mention with Studio 10, today at 3 o'clock, which they always start at 3 o'clock in just under 45 minutes here, Nicole Buckman sat down with former MSU volleyball player Leah Moore, speaking on the mental health challenges when you go from being a student athlete or an athlete and then you're done with that. Say you get an injury, say you graduate college, high school, and you're not in those sports anymore. When you're an athlete, that becomes part of your identity and who you are because it takes up a lot of your time, and you just put a lot of effort into it. And so when you get out of that and you lose part of that identity within yourself, it can be a challenging transition. So Nicole Buckman sat down with Leah Moore speaking on that transition, how she is powering through, finding a new identity, creating that new identity, and really standing strong and confident in who she is after, you're more than a volleyball player, but it's, and even Riley standing next to me right now, I think it's hard sometimes to think, we're journalists, we're here a lot of the time, more than 40 hours a week, and sometimes it's hard to turn off the journalism brain. And I'm sure people in other industries, you get home from work and you're still in that mindset. If you're an engineer, you're like, I'm an engineer, but we're more than that.
Yeah, it's hard to separate your work and life or a hobby or a sport that you're really invested in, to separate that from your at-home life. And I was just thinking about, when you were talking about that, sort of in the same vein, a story that I had done about increased suicide rates in athletes who have injuries, especially concussions. And that when they get a concussion and they're, away from their team, having to recover, and it's kind of this indeterminate amount of time, that could really contribute to some feelings of isolation and some, feelings of anxiety or depression, just being separated from this, sport that brings them so much joy and has brought them a lot of their friends. So I think there's a lot of connections in that, and I'll have to definitely tune in for Nicole's story.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll be a really great piece.
Well, I'll pull it up one more time so people
absolutely.
can see here. You can go to WILX Studio 10 if you're unable to watch at 3 o'clock today, or again, if you do watch and you want to rewatch it, pass it forward to someone. I know we're talking about youth sports coming up because it is getting warmer outside. So if you have someone who's injured, I know that's more of a physical injury, but hey, that can be mental too, right? Powering through that, getting out of that mindset, so in improving your well-being. But know that you're not alone. There are resources out there for you. You just have to scan that QR code and you'll be directed toward more community resources with mental health care professionals. And also today, like on Studio 10 and all month long and all year long here on News 10, but the example with Studio 10 today is you can watch, we're almost fell off the desk there. Well, good. You're able to go on there and hear from community members like Leah Moore on their own mental health journey. And they tell you why you're not alone, because they themselves are going through it too and finding ways to get out of that in a healthful way. So know that you're not alone. That will be on at Studio 10 at 3 o'clock today.
Absolutely. Well, no one sees my feet, and I choose to wear heels every day. So
I need to step down the
I
box.
don't know what that,
oh, you do have the heels. They're the... See, I have the little, the thick...
square.
Yeah, the square ones.
Well, I did
over
fall
too.
recently, if you remember. Not that long ago. In my little corner.
Did you fall?
I fell. Yeah, I make poor shoe choices. And
no, you make fashionable shoe choices.
Yeah, it's for the sake of the look of what I've got going on, and not really, the functionality of that footwear. So, some days you fall down if you wear tall heeled shoes to your office. So
well, you rock them.
Thank you. As a lesson learned, though, I really need to maybe look down while I'm walking around. I think that would be helpful.
Better than me. I'd be click-clacking, it'd fall off my feet. I'd probably fall down all the time.
I've been known to be clumsy,
It hurts
so it's
your
really
feet
not
too.
new. It does a little bit. It does. You know, my toes are sort of, you know, making like new shapes, and I don't know.
They
I
say
just
beauty is
continue with the
pain, but
choice.
it shouldn't be that way.
Shouldn't be. No, it should be easy.
Should be
easy. It should be easy. Well, we've got a very busy day over here in the newsroom. I think we're all feeling a little bit of that Thursday energy. It's almost towards the end of the week.
Oh, yeah.
But today we're digging into a pretty interesting topic, something that's come up following a really unfortunate incident in Grand Rapids where a woman was killed by an immigrant man over there in Kent County. So this situation, even on the west side of the state, has now sparked some push from a few of our state leaders, state legislators, both members of the House of Representatives and senators. Some of them are calling for a ban on what are known as sanctuary cities. Now in Michigan, we only have one sanctuary city, and it's actually East Lansing. But we have several sanctuary counties, and what that means, if they're a sanctuary city or county, is that their local government or county government is not in a strict cooperation with immigration services, or most people might know them as ICE. So there's not a relationship of cooperation there. So they declare themselves a sanctuary city, meaning that you know, their police force may not you know, turn to ICE or alert ICE you know, when there's an immigrant in their city or county. That's the most simple way to put it, I think. There are a couple of complicated ins and outs with that too, and I'll get into that in a story coming up a little bit later. But we have this push from some folks at the state to say, let's ban sanctuary cities. I think there's too much allowance here with, you know, protecting immigrant folks living in our communities, and maybe this situation could have been prevented. So there are some people who take that stance. I spoke with a local advocate who has a couple of different interesting standpoints on this, talking about, you know, what sanctuary cities actually do, the connection of sanctuary cities to crimes like these, and also maybe the benefit of putting some more funding toward, you know, border protections to, you know, prevent certain crimes from happening. So even a local Latin advocate who's kind of weighing in on that situation too, and his views about the situation at the border. So really a topic that's been ongoing for more than a decade, this you know, discussion of immigration and our border control and border patrol, but now kind of being renewed by this discussion of possibly banning sanctuary cities. So it is definitely an interesting topic of conversation. We're going to talk about too the impact of banning sanctuary cities, you know, what that would actually do to the community. So
I think that's a whole added layer because, you know, we talked about everything going down in Texas, the Mexican-U.S. border, all those border immigration laws, and then tying it more locally here with the sanctuary cities and adding that as a new level to this.
And East Lansing is a new sanctuary city too, only as of, I think, a year. So this is something that, you know, some cities are still declaring. Some counties have been sanctuary counties for a while, but yeah, this is really a currently unfolding issue. But you know, if enough lawmakers come together and maybe put some legislation forward, and that gets, you know, passed through the House, passed through the Senate, then there could be some bans on sanctuary cities. It just depends on if that law is able to be passed through. But we're going to talk to some lawmakers too about what their next steps are, where they're hoping to take this, you know, fight against sanctuary cities. So hopefully getting a little bit more information about where this could actually go. So we'll be finding more about that on News 10 at 6.
Yeah, that is a complex story.
It
so
is.
News 10 at 6, make sure to tune in, and
Yeah,
good luck. That is a deep dive.
it is
into
a
that.
deep dive, but I'm hoping that we can get it across, you know, as straightforward as we can, with, you know, bringing both sides of the issue into. Always very important to us over here in the newsroom is making sure if we're getting one side of the conversation, you definitely have to get other sides too. There are definitely lots of ways where those overlap too. But yeah, we're going to break down both sides of it and make sure that we are talking about what could possibly come next. So News 10 at 6.
And if you have any questions for Riley, any comments to help guide her on her story, if you have any insight that she can look into, feel free to leave it in this chat, and you can do that on YouTube or Facebook. And then also, if you head to her Facebook page, WILX Riley Connell.
Yes. Yeah, inbox is always open. That's what I always tell people. So, yeah, shoot me a message, or, you know, if you have just some context to add to this too. You know, we try to make ourselves the experts through the process of learning about certain issues. That's kind of the reporting process, is learning about it yourself to communicate it to other people. But you know, this is not my lived experience. So there are a lot of people out there who have that lived experience, maybe something related to this topic that can help me, you know, kind of put myself better in that position to understand really the issue at hand, to understand what's going on. So it's always helpful. You don't always have to go on camera to help make a story happen. So yeah, inbox is definitely open.
All right, thank you, Riley. We'll see you News 10 at 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds good. Careful getting down.
I know. Oh gosh.
I fall off this box multiple times, and I'm just wearing these. I'm not even in the high heels.
I know. It's scary world out here in the newsroom. Lots of
And
ways
then
to
the
trip
cord,
and fall.
I know. Oh, goodness. We will see Riley News 10 at 6. And here's what's coming up first at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. So I know we are still a little too cold for this right now in this early spring. However, coming up when we get warmer out, and I'll show you that 10-day temperature trend at the end of here, but we're talking about mosquitoes. So the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services coming in to warn of malaria, triple E, that is Eastern equine encephalitis. There we go. I had to think about that for a second. We're going to warn you of all the different mosquito-borne viruses, illnesses that they can pass on from person to person, even animals. And I know we had a few of those triple E cases last year and years prior within horses, and even some people, which are very deadly. So with all of those fatalities from mosquitoes, I know they're small, little, irritating little bugs that give you those itchy bumps, but it can be a lot more severe than that. So we're going to be talking to Emily Dinn, who's been in here before with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, speaking on what you need to know with mosquitoes, especially with the warmer winter that we've had and moving into the spring season when it gets warmer outside, how you can prepare for all of that. Again, the mosquitoes are not here yet. It's too cold for them. But when they do get here, we want to make sure we're preparing you for all of that, especially going from the colder to the warmer months. If you have anything outdoors that you can bring inside that may be the perfect habitat for mosquitoes to lay their eggs, you want to make sure you're limiting that outdoors. So we're going to share more coming up during Mid-Michigan Matters on First at 4 today. And then coming up News 10 at 5, Livingston County Emergency Management is holding a town hall tonight. And this is in regards to the federal assistance programs available to help residents recover from damages caused by severe storms, tornadoes, and flooding in August of 2023. So coming up News 10 at 5, we'll be live at the meeting. And then coming up on News 10 at 5:30, according to the Red Cross, blood is routinely transfused to patients with cancer and other diseases, premature babies, organ transplant recipients, and trauma victims. So that's why the Lansing Community College is hosting a blood drive. We'll have more on that coming up News 10 at 5:30 today. And then the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency is hosting a pinning ceremony for Vietnam War era veterans in Jackson. Coming up on News 10 at 6, our very own Amaya Kuznicki takes us there for the event and speaks with the veterans. That's coming up during our 90 minutes of news today, all getting started with First at 4. Until then, again, I was talking about this mosquitoes. It is too cold right now to see any of them, thank goodness. But we'll take a look at that 10-day temperature trend once again, so you can get a better idea of what you can look forward to heading into Easter weekend, and then also heading into next week, which again, if you see Wednesday, Thursday right there, Colton was mentioning we have that drop. We have a few showers, systems moving into our area. So make sure to download the First Alert weather app, get any more details you need on your First Alert forecast when all of that moves in. I do want to show you a live look over Michigan State University, giving you that look at the clear blue skies. You have just a few of those clouds over there right now, but you have that sun shining through and it is looking nice out there. And then I can show you a quick look over at downtown Jackson, just getting another live look for you before we head off here on this Friday Junior. And I don't want to throw people off when I say that. It is Thursday, everyone. Tomorrow is Friday, but we are certainly looking ahead to the weekend, especially with these warmer temperatures and all of that sunshine. I know a lot of people are excited to get out and about. So this is a live look, and we are looking forward to that real soon here. But with all of the Easter fun activity, again, make sure you're tuning in to Studio 10 coming up in less than half an hour today. You get to see all of the Easter fun, try to get that Easter basket giveaway, and you can email them at studio10@wilx.com. Other than that, we're going to have First at 4 come up in just a little bit after Studio 10, followed by our 90 minutes of news, and then the 10 and 11. Have a great Thursday, everyone.